Alright, so we're going to run through a quick scenario of when the breacher might be used in firefighting. So there are tons of scenarios where this could be possible, but one that comes to mind is a search and rescue operation. That generally happens as soon as a department rolls up to a fire. If there's someone reported to be inside, or sometimes even if we're just not sure if there's someone in there, a couple people are going to go in really quick and sweep the structure to see if they can find anyone that needs to come out. So those guys aren't going to go in with a hose line or any kind of tools to put out the fire. They're just going to go in with a couple entering tools, which are the flathead axe and second guy. It's a two-person team that'll go in. Second guy will have a Halligan bar. This is basically a fancy pry bar to open doors and stuff. So they're not going to have anything in the way of, putting out a fire in general. Their job is just go through quick and get people out. So here we have a scenario, a room that's on fire. You can see the fire is here. Here's a door. We're going to say for this scenario that the people who left the residence closed this door off so that there's no open doors in here. This is a closed off room. And what that's going to do is that's going to deprive this fire that started here of oxygen. So after a little while not having oxygen, it's going to be a really small little smoldering thing. The room's still going to be filled with smoke and really hot. So you won't be able to see anything in here. Also, as you go up higher, obviously heat rises. So inside a room, the top is going to be really hot, and in order for firefighters to go in and make the sweep of the room, they're going to have to crawl on their hands and knees because it'll be too hot to raise your head any higher. So let's say here comes your search and rescue team, two dudes, and they open the door. And you can do either a right hand or a left hand search, and we're going to say that these guys pick a right hand search. The concept of that is you go and you search along the wall, keeping one hand in contact with the wall and using your other hand and your tool to sweep along the floor and look for people in there. And you just keep in contact with the wall and go all the way around the room until you reach where you came in, and then you go back out again. So these guys start doing this. Remember, they're crawling, so they're moving pretty slow, moving along here, searching. There's stuff in a room usually, so say like there's a couch or a bed or something they run into. They're going to have to go around that. They're going to have to search under it. So they're taking a little while. So all this time, they've opened the door, right? And now all of a sudden this fire is getting oxygen again. And oxygen-deprived fires that suddenly get oxygen grow really, really fast. So by the time these guys get to, I don't know, like here in this room, this fire could have spread to around where they came in initially. So they're basically cut off from the door now. And they don't realize that till they come back around here. And maybe they have a thermal imager, maybe the flames are so big they can actually see them, but they realize somewhere here, okay, we're not getting back out again. Remember, they can only rise like 2.5 feet off the ground before they start to burn the tops of their ears from the heat in the room. So what they're going to have to do is, so the first thing you're going to do is look for windows or other doors. We're going to say that other doors are not in this room and neither are windows, or maybe they just couldn't find them. So what they decide to do is they come back here, and maybe there's another room here, and this is just an interior wall here, and they know this, so they decide they're going to take out a piece of this wall in order to get through to the other room. Problem with that is that most walls are 16 on center, interior walls at least, and it's very hard to fit a firefighter in full gear in between two studs in a 16 on center wall. So that will be what will be demonstrated by our mock wall setup, which we will go to now. Alright, so this is our test wall. Pay no attention to the OSB around it. This is made to model an interior wall on an apartment or a house or something like that. It's got a 16-ounce center, 2x4 studs, and it'd be covered with this, which is gypsum board or sheetrock or whatever you want to call it. So we're going to be, and this is just a section so that we can put multiple sections in and smash them. So what I'm going to do is show the technique of getting through here with an axe, and hitting out the gypsum board is not hard at all. Normally also there would be two sheets, one on here and one on the other side. We don't have the one on the other side just because we're conserving board, so it's just going to be the one. That's not the hard part though. The hard part is fitting through this hole in between the studs, which are less than 60 inches apart, with this air pack on. So me being a smaller guy, I could probably squeeze it without doing anything, but other people, they're going to have to use a technique where you loosen up the straps on the pack, slide it to the side, and then slide yourself in the pack through the hole. So that's the technique I'm going to show here today. It's a technique that not a lot of people practice very much, so when you actually have to do it in a stressful situation to possibly save your life, it could become difficult. Also, conditions are ideal in here. I can see everything in here. In reality, if this were a smoked room, you wouldn't be able to see anything. If you put your glove right on your mask, you might not even be able to see it. I also probably wouldn't be able to be as high up as I am right now. It gets really hot, and I'd probably be burning the tops of my ears. So you're going to want to be down, or in a real situation, the firefighter would be down like this. And yeah, and also I know that I'm not going to die, so it makes it a lot easier to do stuff. So yeah, we're going to show how you get through it. Alright, so I found that I can't get out the door. I'm going to crawl up to the wall, find where I'm going to go through, and then make my hole. Then I'm going to strip the tack. I'm going to loosen this strap, slide my tack to the side, push the tack through the hole, and then push myself through the hole. Once I'm on the other side, I gotta put the tack straps back on. So, as you can see, that takes a lot of energy. That wasn't a great run at it for me. A lot of people though, I have the same problems, especially in an emergency. So, what a lot of bigger guys have to do is not to take the pack all the way off. Once I broke this thing already, and keep in mind there was only one sheet of gypsum here,